Hi, this is Reflex Flow Training, Seafood Bob here. Today I want to talk a little bit about slashing and stabbing. Now, I'm recently became an instructor in the Medusa system, and they use no slashing motions. It's a very realistic stabbing. Is much more deadly than slashing for the most part. One of the disadvantages of slashing is with wide movements. It's easier for a person to disarm you. If a person's wearing a heavy coat or heavy clothing, slashes are not as effective at getting through. Their idea is to stun the person, with a eye jab or a punch, grab on, latch on to the person like that, pull your weapon. It could be a knife or even a pen, which is good because it doesn't have to be a knife like that. And you can start your stabbing type motions until you finish the person. Of course, these are all, I hope this goes unsaid, but or doesn't need to be said, but these are only in life and death situations to defend yourself. Now, having said that, you got to remember that if you're living in like say a warm climate or it's summertime, and you're not way up north or something, the chances are a person is only going to be wearing a t-shirt or something like that. And sometimes slashes can actually be effective. Now, if you're carrying a small knife, absolutely stab. But if you're using a giant folder or a big knife, especially something if it has serrades, you can actually rip through skin pretty easy. It's not that hard to cut someone. So slashes can be useful. I'm not saying don't stab. Absolutely not. I'm saying it can be combined effectively. And especially also if you're going against another weapon and the person's coming up here, it's like coming in this way, slash at you like that, coming this way. And remember, don't do this stuff, right? Bow. See it? Bow. That type of slash can be useful. See someone's reaching to the left, jam that into their arm with a shirt like that. That is going to stop them. Stop them, then stab, right? So, bow, stab, like that. They come over this side, like that. You can come this way or slash this way, or stab that way. So there is a place for slashing type motions. And of course, let's say someone comes at you and you cut and stab and you're inside, pull out with a slashing type motion. Also, if I do simply grab onto you and go to slash you and you block it like that, this type of motion, pulling back, right, is going to cut them just by turning that knife there. So that's a slashing type motion. And stab, right, and slash. Stab or slash and come back that way. So there is a place for slashing. Stab, see? Stab, cut across his throat. If I go across his forehead, that's going to cause him to bleed into his face, and that's going to blind him so I can do my stabbing type motion. So slashing is not something that you don't ever want to do under any circumstances, especially if you've been in the Philippine martial arts and you've been trained to do these methods. Don't think you have to abandon that. You want to remember though, if let's say it's winter, person's wearing a coat, this type of stuff is a lot of wasted motion a lot of times. One thing that's good about a coat, let's say in the wintertime, is that let's say that, or I block something, right, and I grab onto a person, I can grab onto their material, the coat, pull, let's say, your right arm over here, and then I can get my stabs in. So there is a couple reasons for that. A stab will go through a heavier material, and I can use it as a handle as well. So sometimes a slash can be useful with a big knife. I'm not talking about small knives. Only with a large knife, like that. Someone reaches to grab you, right? I can slash, or I can hook their hand and slash slash your arm, right? And then bow, 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 stab. Slash your arm, slash, stab. So you always want to follow slashes with the stabs, because the stab is what is going to finish the person off. But don't think that this is ineffective. This is effective. Do not practice these big, wide feeds, because this type of motion is setting yourself up to be disarmed. You know, if you slash, it's, you know, it's small, and then stab, stab, stab. Okay. Slashing doesn't work with a pen. It's very, very good for up close, just to stab, right? Grab onto the person, boom, boom, boom. And certainly, if I do block a person, the ability to draw your weapon is extremely expensive. And if I can get a stab in right off the bat, I'm going to do that. But there is a place, especially if you're facing another knife, for slashing type, you know, motion. Okay. Thank you. Oh, also a happy birthday to Guru Joe Hunkar out in British Columbia. I'm not going to say what he turned. He's younger than me though. And happy birthday, Joe. And I will see you next time, guys.